Oh, I love the beach club. It again, I know I'm here in Florida, but one of the places that I love is like being up along the Massachusetts coastline. And being here, I feel like I'm there. It's, you know, you walk in and I don't know, I just connect to this, you know, the lobby, the feeling, the rooms, the grand spaces, I don't know if they call it the solarium here or whatever. Like, I could be in there like all day long. I just love it.
One of the things that I find most appealing about the beach club is its sense of casualness. You come in, it's a very relaxed feeling.
Something that I do love about this resort is that for me, it's definitely a relaxed resort. I've always said that whenever I write my book, I'm gonna come stay here for like a month. There's this resort, there's one other resort out in Utah that I say that about too. But at Disney World, this is where I would come to write my book, where I could just be here and not feel like I need to go into the parks or do anything else. I could just be here and relax.
It's portrayed everywhere here, from the lobby to the restaurants to the rooms. It's in the colors, it's in the design. You just walk around and it definitely gives you a sense of relaxation. The first time I stayed at the beach club, it was me and my family. I have 3 children and they were younger at the time, and one of the things that really impressed me just upon walking in is this particular resort is so well suited for children. You know, you can walk in and it's sophisticated, it's an elegant place, and yet at the same time, my kids didn't feel like they couldn't be kids. They were welcome to, you know, be a little bit, you know, boisterous and excited, and they didn't need to be quiet and, you know, calm. They were able to be themselves and be comfortable, and we had such a wonderful time here.
I love the fact here at the beach club that I'm just a short walk to Epcot. I can go have dinner at restaurants around the World Showcase. I can walk over and have dinner at ESPN Club. It's very close. I can even walk to Hollywood Studios from here. You know, in this day and age where everybody's driving, it's nice to be able to walk to where you need to be, and this resort is just perfect for that.
Certainly one of the things that I absolutely love about staying at the beach club is how close it is to Epcot. It's a couple minutes walk into World Showcase, and that's a wonderful experience. I also love, you know, those people who watch the DIS Unplugged know that in the last year I've lost about 50 pounds. So I'm constantly looking, and I did that, you know, not just managing my diet, but also by walking. I walk quite a bit, and probably one of the best routes to walk anywhere is the loop around Crescent Lake, where you go past the boardwalk, the Swan and Dolphin, the Yacht Club, and the Beach Club.
Well, my best memory of the rooms here is laying in bed and hearing illuminations going on in the background. It's priceless. You just can't explain. You can hear the music. I could see the high fireworks, but to hear that music as a Disney fan, you can't, I don't even know how to say it. It's just so amazing to be laying in your bed and hearing illuminations from Epcot. You're that close.
The rooms here at the Beach Club are among my favorite, especially after this most recent redesign. The color palette, the feel, the Wedgwood blues, it's elegant and it's really, really comfortable. Especially up on concierge. I love to stay at the different concierge lounges around property. This is definitely one of my favorite. To It's a nice sized lounge. Staff is incredible. You know, sometimes a lot of people will question whether or not it's worth paying extra to stay in concierge. You know, for me, it really depends on the resort. I've stayed at resorts, not necessarily here at Disney World, but in other places where it's like, okay, that was not worth it. That was not worth it at all. Beach Club is one of those places where I always say that was worth the extra money. The service you get, just the friendliness, I'm always impressed with how they remember your name. It's like, I wonder if they have like your picture and your name plastered in a back room somewhere, and they're like all made to memorize it because they meet you once, and then for the rest of your stay, they're greeting you by name, which I don't know how, because I can't remember yesterday, so I don't know how they do that. But that kind of service, that kind of attention to detail, you know, that's what you want. If you're going to spend the money, if you're going to have that experience, that's the kind of experience you want.
As Disney Vacation Club members, when my family stayed here, we stayed in one of their one-bedroom villas. First of all, I have to mention the kitchen. That as a mom, that was really great to have accessible to me. I didn't have to have my kids out at a meal every few hours. I was able to bring in some groceries for us, and we could just fix our very, everyday peanut butter and jelly or whatever it was right there in the room, and be able to get ourselves ready for whatever we were going out to that evening. And I really liked having that option available to us. If one of the kids needed to take a nap, that worked out fine. They could take a nap, and when they woke up, we could just have lunch right there in the room, or getting up early in the morning, it was great to just have breakfast right there available. In some ways, it made vacationing so much easier.
One of my favorite places to eat, especially for a character breakfast, and I think it's the most underrated character breakfast in Walt Disney World, is at the Cape May Cafe. I've been there several times, but last year we were doing we were here as a group, the whole DIS Unplugged team, and we had breakfast at the Cape May Cafe. First of all, I was blown away with how good the food was.
Another thing that they really liked was the Beaches and Cream restaurant that they have here. And that one was particularly special for us. It's an ice cream parlor that they have here, and my kids at the time were on a very restricted medical diet. One of the things that they couldn't have any dairy, they couldn't have any gluten, but they had an option there for the kids. They had a particular type of ice cream that they were able to consume, so that was a huge treat, for our family to be able to come here and do something like ice cream, which was normally a big no-no. They also enjoyed watching other people enjoy their desserts and seeing the amazing concoctions that were coming out of the kitchen. One in particular was the kitchen sink. It was this huge bowl that was shaped like a sink. It even had a little faucet accessory on the side of it, and just filled with every kind of flavor ice cream that you can imagine, and tons of toppings. They were completely fascinated by that. And as their condition healed up some, we were able to go back and enjoy that for ourselves, and that was a big celebration for us to be able to come back and indulge in the kitchen sink as a family together. And it was nice to take that journey and be at the point here at the Beach Club Resort. One of the things that they loved the most was the pool area. That was the big draw for us here. Stormalong Bay is actually just completely beautiful, and it stretches out for ages. They were particularly enthralled with the sand at the bottom of the pool. That was something they had never experienced before. And it really kind of plussed the experience for them. And they spent quite a bit amount of time on the sand dune that they had there, making sand castles. And I remember an instance where they were taking some of the sand and putting it on each other's head. It was, good laughs between all of us.
One of the favorite things that I like to do here is to take the 4-person Surrey bike and make a fool out of myself. A friend of mine and we took the ride around, and when we went up the one hill, we had to have somebody help push us up. And when we came down the other hill, we hit a trash can. But I wouldn't trade those memories for the world. We had a blast. You know, we can sit out and watch the boats in the harbor. We can walk around the lake. It's a perfect place to get your exercise. You know, I'm a big fan of, if you're gonna have to walk somewhere, you might as well do it where there's scenery, and it doesn't get more scenic than the loop around the lake outside.
I think probably one of my most vivid and fond memories was the time I stayed here over New Year's. There is nothing like experiencing New Year's Eve at Epcot. Nothing. And you know, the park is busy, but it's like this amazing party atmosphere, and Disney does it right. I mean, that park is just crazy good for New Year's Eve. And you have that crowd, and you have all that energy. I can't tell you how nice it is after all that, because you're in that park all day. We were there, we got into the park, I think around 10 o'clock that morning, and we were afraid it was gonna close for capacity, so we didn't leave. So we were there until midnight, being able to take that short little walk right back to the beach club, and you're in your room before most people are getting to their cars. Is one of those awesome experiences. Again, one of the many memories I have that connect me to this resort.
There was a period of time where my family was unable to travel to Disney. We had discovered that my kids had a medical condition, and they had to have a very restricted diet as a result. And there were actually 2.5 years where we never had a meal outside of my kitchen. It was just an extremely severe situation, and I needed to be very careful of what they came in contact with. After those few years, we decided to try to come to Disney on vacation. The idea was actually to focus our vacation at the resorts. We stayed in a Disney Vacation Club one-bedroom villa because they had the kitchens, and that was absolutely crucial. I had to have that. So the idea was to stay in the villa and not really venture out into the parks too much. I allowed for one particular day in the park. I decided we would just make it a quick day. We were going to go to Hollywood Studios one day. That was all I was willing to risk in my mind. I hadn't allowed anyone else to feed my children in 2.5 years. So this was a very difficult thing to ask of me. They were very patient with me on the phone and asked if I would just be willing to talk to one of the chefs to see if I felt comfortable with that. So I agreed. I expected that I would maybe hear from the chef at the end of the week, days from that phone conversation. Within 10 minutes, my phone rang, and Chef Patrick from the Brown Derby was on the phone. I heard from Chef Patrick very regularly. He would contact me about every month or so to check up on the kids' development, to see if they had gotten any further along in their healing process, and if there were more foods that they were allowed to consume. He was going to personally create a meal especially for them, and it would be the first meal that they would have outside of our home in 2.5 years. I'm so sorry. The story gets me every time. Finally, the day came when we were here to have our vacation, and we were having a lovely time at the resort. Our day at Hollywood Studios was midway through, and we walked into the Brown Derby. He actually came out to the table to greet us, and when he did, he not only was there to say hello, but he came with a stack of printed out emails of correspondence that had taken place between us over the months. And I could see that he had taken a highlighter and gone through the emails to pick out the important things, the information that he needed to prepare their meal. And at that moment, I knew that we were going to be okay. And I wish that I could go back and thank him, because it was such a meaningful experience for our family, and the start of something really beautiful. And after that point, I knew that we would always vacation at Disney.